Welcome back to the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. We're brought to you by Yak Gadget. For all your kayak fishing accessory needs, go to yakgadget.com. Pelican cases, coolers, and lighting. Go to pelican.com. The 153 Bait Company. For all your hard and soft bait needs, go to the153anglers.com. Now let's get this show started.
Welcome back to the Paddle and Fin Network. It's the final cast with your host, Josh.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Brad. Hey, real quick. We do have Jimmy, the Killer Skinner. See, I just gave you Brian's nickname. We could call it, what do you want him called? Beardy Man? What's your nickname?
I don't care. I've been called a lot of things in our group.
Jimmy the Animal Skinner.
I don't even know what we're on right now. I think it's Beardy Man is what it is in our group.
Yeah, but
I can't remember.
Those kind of based off of weird conversations we all have.
Yeah, some of them have gotten vulgar, so which I appreciate.
Brad, what were you doing during the intro? I couldn't tell if you were scratching the dirt off of your upper lip or what you were doing. I mean, dude, did you see him, Jimmy? He was like this, like.
He looks like a meth addict.
He's either scratching his mustache off or eating corn on the cob. I couldn't tell which one it was.
Hey, man, this is only 3 weeks.
So. How long you keeping it?
Forever.
Hey,
dude.
I know. No, you got to stick with it at least through November.
I will.
And then you got to, I need you to start rolling some fancy ass curls in that bad boy. I need to see some handlebarish going.
I'm going to do something because there's a painter guy that we work with, and he's like a 60-year-old dude, has a little curlies, and he dyes it like blue and red. It's a different color every time I see him.
Wow. I should dye my beard a different color.
No way, dude.
Yeah, my wife would kick my ass.
The ginger beard is awesome.
I love it. I get complimented on it all the time, and I don't like it. Always takes me. I don't know how to respond. That guy opened the door for me at the gas station. Was like, I'm definitely jealous of that beard. And I was like, hi. Like, thank you. I'm not sure if you're hitting on me. I'm just going to go to my truck now.
At least you don't have random people walking up to you, like, stroking it.
I had a girl try to once, and that was the most awkward get the hell away from me I've ever had to give anybody.
I went to a concert with my buddy once, and we were just sitting there walking through. He has a huge beard like that, too. And some girl was like, hey, I really like your beard. He said, thanks, I grew it myself, and just kept walking.
Oh, that should be my new go-to response. I should be like, it's an implant.
Yeah, these are extensions. It's really blonde.
That's hilarious. So before we get into something, I don't know how much this will pertain to y'all too, but I just saw something Dan Perry posted. That Boyd Duckett, I don't know if y'all have ever had him on with Duckett Rods. He's the owner of MLF, and he just announced in an interview that he's going to be getting into kayak fishing soon.
Oh, cool.
And everything else he's done the following year, there's a trail. So maybe MLF is going to have a professional kayak trail.
Huh.
Woo! More shit.
Didn't they try to do that with KBF?
FLW did.
Oh, okay.
And then
I get
that fell apart. MLF bought FLW. And I think that's where we are today or some shit. I don't know. There's a lot.
I got one thing to say. He needs to stay in his lane.
Who?
Boyd Duckett. Stay in your lane, Boyd.
He like grew
the shot heard around the world.
Mustache that came with this weird attitude.
Dude, you only wear that same shirt. The last 3 times I've seen you, you've been wearing that shirt.
I don't care. I've never washed it either.
I'm not surprised.
He sleeps in it.
I'm just a crusty old kayak fisherman, dude. We all are.
Yeah, I was going to say, name the person in our group that's not a crusty old kayak fisherman. No, I can't think of one.
Yeah.
What's up, fellas? I hadn't seen y'all in a while. What's going on?
Not much, man. Just working.
Same
here.
Work. Very little fishing this year for me, but
Yeah, that sucks.
But
I got burnt out on it. I haven't been on the water since the second week of August.
Ooh.
First or second week of August.
Dude, that's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, and there was nothing that really caused it. Like the last time I went fishing, I ran into some of the best smallmouth fishing up here I've ever ran into. And the week before that, I caught my first 7.
Yeah.
Like, everything was going good. I got through with COVID. Have had zero interest in it, man. I've just been like, I brought all my stuff in. My kayaks haven't moved. I mean, I got gear piled up in the corner. Have no intention of touching it until spring hits. I think I'm going to try to start back fresh in January. Going to go down to Kissimmee, Florida for the KBF. Do the first trail event in coordinates with the 10 Invitational and the 10. And I just want to go down there because there's a lake down there that's got a lot of like giant record bass in it, and it's 40 minutes from where the lake I want to fish for that event. So if the trail sucks, you can take a 40-minute drive and possibly catch a double digit. Like, you can say that about anywhere, but your chances there are very high to catch it. Like, like the average fish there is like 6 pounds.
Jeez.
Yeah.
This is like the average fish in Ohio is like 3.
Yeah.
More like
it's starting
2.
to feel that way in Alabama. Everything's got so much pressure on it.
Yeah. Somebody was, I forget who it was. They said they went down to Gunnersville recently and super tough bite. I'm like, oh, it's because everybody's out there fishing it.
Gunnersville, from what I hear and like what I have had happen there in the last year, hasn't been bad. It seems like a lot of the pressure has shifted to like Pickwick, because Pickwick and Smith Lake down here got absolutely assaulted these last 2 years with tournaments, and you didn't really have anything extra on Gunnersville. I mean, they had the Classic there last year, but I mean, the lake's so big it can handle it. But you know, for the most part, I would think the people that are saying Gunnersville's fishing tough, they're just fishing it wrong.
Right.
But do you think? Let's kind of talk. Let's go along with this because, you know, I have like up and down feelings regarding tournaments and looking at fishing tournaments as a whole. This isn't just kayak fishing, but boat fishing and that sort of thing. Like, do you guys feel it's detrimental to, you know, various lakes, river systems, whatnot?
It definitely, to me, it depends on its location. Like I just said, like Gunnersville's like 33,000 acres or something like that.
Right.
It's not as much as most would like to say, or as much as they do in other states, but it's stocked and managed somewhat. You know, it's got a lot of fish in it, but on the same time, it does have a lot of tournaments and a lot of, you know, fish killed because of that. Because you have dead loss in that style tournament. Now, like I would say, if you were comparing 2 lakes, like we've got a lake down here that is a reservoir, like a drinking water reservoir backup for a small town, full of big fish. They have a Saturday night tournament. They have like Tuesday night tournaments, and this is a lake that, like, from one side, if you cross it, I think the whole thing's 4.5 miles. From north to south bank. So it's not that big. I mean, there's spots that are 100 yards wide, and a lake like that gets hammered, that's going to destroy it. Like, because they're doing the same thing. I don't know how many times I've gone there because it's only got one boat launch, and you'll watch them throw back 150 fish. And then if you fish there the next day, you'll see 30 of them floating, you know?
Oh yeah.
But I think it all depends.
I mean, even with the big lakes, though, those big lakes like that, you know, start to, they have like the lure behind them, you know, like Lake Fork or whatnot. Right. And then they're big, but at the same time, you know, the bass are only in certain areas. You know what I mean? It's not like they're just completely spread out everywhere, and every area is good. We all know that from experience of going to good lakes and knowing, well, that spot's, you know, the fish aren't here. And, you know, you start pounding certain areas where your high percentage of, you know, scoring well is going to be. You're not going to sit around and be like, oh, well, you know, I could go anywhere on this lake and we're going to catch, you know, huge fish. It just doesn't work that way.
Right. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of things to that. Like you said, Lake Fork. Lake Fork's a good example of that. You can catch good fish anywhere on Lake Fork, but there are very publicly known hotspots, just like there is on any lake.
Mhm.
But like one of them that's on Lake Fork is Mark Daniel Jr.'s. He had a spot on MLF. He caught 85 pounds in one day.
Jeez.
But he only caught like 20 fish or something like that, 25, 30. Like his average, I think his average was 6-pounders.
Yeah.
Like,
That's pretty good.
and that spot is not even an acre. It's
Yeah.
right off the main lake. It's a little pocket. Everybody can see it. Everybody knows where you're at. He hammered it for a few days in a row. When we were at Lake Fork, everybody was in there every day. Kayak, bass boat, tournament day. There were 3 bass boats in there. 2 of them were literally tied together on bumpers, and 3 kayak anglers, and everybody was taking turns pitching in there. Just it's like that now, but to like what Josh is saying, that will eventually ruin it.
You can't do that in Ohio, that's for sure. You mentioned the 4.5 mile lake. Our lakes here in Ohio are like, I don't know what. Cowan Lake's not even 2 miles long.
Yeah, it's not.
If
it's
that.
not long.
I mean,
But-
if you can, that's why they say if you catch fish in Ohio, you can catch them anywhere. The fishing's tough here. There's a lot of people, not many bodies of water, and there's small bodies of water.
Yeah, it's just what kind of, I don't know. Like I think the tournament scene is just kind of to an extreme, and I'm talking about it not in a sense of pro stuff or anything. I'm just saying as a whole, like, because you're right. We've got MLF, you got, all these different pro leagues, and then you've got like 3 or 4 sub pro, like,
Yeah, there's the MPFL, bunch
dude.
of state level, then
and
college,
then-
high school.
Yeah, and then you've got these weekday nights. You got random, weekend tournaments that are, done through some marina or whatever, and it's just like it's a constant thing. And I don't disagree with. I don't want to say tournament fishing is bad. I think what you were alluding to, Jimmy, is the whole weigh-in thing, right? Like,
Yeah,
bringing fish in like that is not good. We talk about, conserving our resources, that sort of thing. And it's like, but when I see the thing, bringing them up on the stage, the fish, and I'm like, it's cool and all, but at the same time, I'm like, it's so just detrimental to, the fishery in itself, in my opinion.
that's why I'm a big, like, I really like MLF because they're not bringing fish in.
Yeah.
Bassmaster does an event every year that the boat marshal weighs each fish just like they do in MLF, and they've done that for a while, but it's only one event. Things need to be managed better, and there's so many small steps. Like, they could do it where, I mean, obviously we do catch photo release. We would love to see everything go that way. I mean, because like MLF with a boat marshal or something, but you've got like certain small things that can happen. Like when spring tournaments are happening on lakes where they're bedding, like bedding fish do not need to be moved, period. Yeah. Like they exert so much energy already doing that. It's already, and I love catching bedfish. Like it's fun because you have to convince that fish to bite your stuff. Then you watch it the whole time you're doing it. It's totally different than trying to make a fish bite your lure that you can't see. Mm-hmm. And I do thoroughly enjoy it, but like, I mean, most kayak anglers can say it. We do it, and we do our best to, get them back in, make sure they're good, let them go right back to what they were doing. And, that's the big one. I think that you kill a lot of, like, if you get into the biology of it, I guarantee you there's a lot of, I'm trying to think of how they word it, but basically like a year class of fish that gets shortened or changed or lost due to that. Now, at the same time, like nature finds a way. Like they had, I think it was either last year or 2 years ago. Like Gunnersville had 2 spawn seasons. They were catching.
It's not super uncommon in the South. If you guys stay warm enough, we have 1 obviously, but
and there's like, as much as it's bad, like I do think there's way too much tournament fishing going on as a whole. It'll never change.
Yeah,
but I do think conservation efforts should be stepped up more. Our state in Alabama, for sure, man, like it's almost non-existent in my opinion. You go to places like Texas, like Lake Fork is the way it is because they take care of Lake Fork.
Yeah.
Like, and a lot of other states are like that. You know, now Kentucky Lake has other issues that have brought it down, but everybody talks about how Kentucky Lake just taken just a giant downfall. And it's because they beat the crap out of it.
Yeah,
and the DNR is not doing much about it. Like, if you're going to have my thing is, if tournament fishing on a higher scale brings in tourism dollars, that's what it's all about. That's why they tell you if you're finding a sponsor to find a location for an event, you talk to the tourism board, Chamber of Commerce, because they're giving you deals to bring people in to stay in their hotels and to stay around the area and spend money. Brings money in. It brings in a lot of money on some of these bigger events. Like, watch the Classic. There's guys parked on the highways when the dudes are fishing near a road. Like, people are everywhere. Take a percentage of that money and just be like, okay, since the Classic came here this year, we're going to put 500,000 Florida strain bass in, or whatever. There's just, you don't see a lot of that in a lot of places. And like Alabama, I know they do, they focus a lot on the vegetation here. And I know that has a direct impact on everything, but every guy I've ran into on the water that's part of the Department of Natural Resources stuff, they're talking about hydrilla, you know, how it's overgrown and we need to spray, or eelgrass is terrible, or milfoil.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, and I get that trickles down, but none of them ever talk about like the over amount of pressure. And it's either they don't want to address it, or maybe we think it's really bad. Maybe it's actually not that much of an effect on it. Like, maybe there is 500 billion fish in that lake, and tournaments all year don't have a vast effect on it. But I don't know. I'd love to have a show where I could really talk to the smart people like that, like Joe Rogan does when he has a topic he didn't know. He finds somebody really educated to talk about it. Yeah. I'd love to do that as far as like the biology of all this stuff, fishing, and
that would be cool.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd understand half of it. It'd be cool to listen.
I'm sure Drew could hook you up with somebody like that.
Yeah. Drew knows a bunch of it too.
Yeah.
Like, that dude really does. I didn't realize he was, I didn't think he was stupid, but I didn't think he was one of these like my dude knows the technical ends of things, and he'll hit you with biology lessons on certain things about fish. And credit to him.
Yeah, it's just it's one of those things that as we keep seeing the scene within ours keep growing, and we all know that, you know, the boat scene has been on the come up since day one. It's been getting bigger and bigger and bigger, you know, and you've got guys switching back and forth between boats and kayaks, you know, and the tournament scene just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And I'm just kind of like, sometimes I'm like, man, like I'm on board with you, Jimmy. I'm like, I really love to see the whole live well thing just stop. Like, you know, I know it's going to take time, and I think hopefully we see that, especially, you know, if maybe not like through the whole year, at least during like the spawn, man. I think that's a really important like time.
I would be more in the dead heat of the summer and in the spring is when I wish that there would be like rule changes. Like I'm perfectly fine at all these big events, state finals, college championships, Bassmaster Classic, Red Crest, bring them in. I mean, that's part of what it is. That's one time, you know, on one body of water a year. But like the dead heat of the summer, it's easy to lose them too. Like if you're catching them deep, you can rupture their dive bladder. Yeah, dive bladder. And, you know, like they'll come up bloated if you don't know how to handle them. They usually don't survive it. A lot of them expend a lot of energy already because of like the thermocline and water temperature and crap like that. And then like we already talked about in the spawn, there's 2 times of the year you could not do it, you know, and it'd be fine.
Yeah, MLF does a good job about it.
I don't think I don't think you would lose that much luster to the whole, you know, award stuff, you know, the whole celebration part of it. Because I mean, I think it'd be even cool, like if, you know, especially for highly televised events, like, you know, you would think they'd be able to have somebody who could, because they're recording it, right? This stuff ain't really super live, and they could clip together like best moments of that angler during the thing. And I would have more fun watching that than having somebody come up on stage and say, hey, blah, blah, blah. I had a good weekend, and missed short on a couple bites, and then flash the fish. I'd rather see like a quick highlight clip of each.
Right.
And not that I wouldn't want them to talk. It'd be like, hey, thanks, and check out my highlights or whatever. And here's what happened while I was out on the water,
And like, you could do it. Like, I don't remember who I was talking to. Somebody was like, well, if they go to all MLF style, there's no guess as to who wins. All you have to do is hide the top 10 names. Yeah. Like, if you're in the top 10 and you catch a fish, you see the catch, they go away before it scores.
Yeah.
And then you just talk about the totals.
It shuts off, like, you might be with the angler, but I could care less to see them if, let's, like you said, you have a marshal on the boat, you can weigh the fish there, you're getting like updated totals, and then at a certain point, it's like, what I mean? Like, gone. Yeah. They're still weighing them, but we don't need to see it. Like,
and then you could do like you said, and they could come on stage, play their highlight reel, have the last 3 guys up there, and then boom, here's your winner.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I don't know. It's a lot of it's stuck in how it's always worked, man. That's. Yeah.
But
they're like, well, this is our formula. This works, and we're rich. Right. It's worked. So, but something may force them to change. You never know.
Yeah.
This reminds me of a video that I recently saw. Bass Fishing HQ. I don't know if you guys seen this video or not, but it's like a video about like a 5-year research project where tournament bass go after they're released at like a boat ramp.
To heaven.
Yeah. No, you guys should watch the video.
I want to say I've seen it pop up, and I just haven't watched it.
I think I've heard highlights about it, but go ahead and highlight for us.
Yeah, so they tag these fish. People would they tagged them after catching them, release them at the boat ramp. Then people would catch them, call the number, and they would report it. And they said like some number 55% or whatever of those fish made it back to the original spot where they were caught within a month.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like,
that's something I know from talking to a biologist guy I met on the water. He was like they'll hang out for a week or less where they're released because they the pressure and the energy and blah 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 blah, they get reacclimated, they lose the shock. If they survive, they'll feed up there, and then they'll move. But they usually do, man. They'll travel a ridiculous distance to get back to where they were.
Yeah, and
I think there is like a limitation to it because there was guys talking about on Gunnersville talking about. So that's why. Here's an interesting fact that it might show the limit of that. So, Goose Pond Colony in Gunnersville is a resort that Bassmaster uses for the launch and weigh-in and everything. It's a big, big area, boat launch and parking lot. They call that the Miracle Mile of Gunnersville. There's been so many tournaments held and released out of that ramp that those fish stay in that area. It's a little more than a mile. It's like a 3 mile, but again, we're talking about a 33,000 acre lake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But after I found that when I was reading some old information, looking up shit for Gunnersville. But all of my hot spots are in that 3 mile. Like everywhere I like to fish are in that area. Yeah, and it's not like I'm giving away my secrets. None of my spots are hidden. It's just being there at the right time. Mm-hmm. But it's those fish. Will they travel if it's needed? Yes. But a lot of them, like everything they need's there. Copious amounts of bait, cover, shallow water, deep water, moving water. Everything's right there. And they congregate there. And that's just like they talk about if you're traveling from another state to fish Gunnersville, go fish the Miracle Mile. Like that's where you want to be to catch a donkey, to have a better chance. And there's a lot of truth to it. You'll see a lot of the guides' boats down there. Like,
yeah,
they'll be around that, and they'll go down to Browns Creek Bridge where the Bassmaster Classic's been won like 4 times. Like, again, another area that the fish just seem to congregate in or go back to. Yeah, no, it's pretty cool little study.
Same thing can be said about river fish too. I mean, they go up and down the stream. I mean, all day long. They'll go 2 miles downstream, 3 miles upstream the next day.
I would love, I've said this to a few people, like I wish that you could get the equipment easily to tag fish.
Mm-hmm.
I would love in our, like we've got river smallmouth like y'all do, you know, and it's different here because it gets so hot so quick and the water levels and everything so different. I just would love to tag like 3 of them and know where they go, because I can confirm at certain times of the year they are nowhere near that creek.
Yep.
And that creek is so hard to traverse. Like it has waterfalls and all these drops and everything. Like I would love to like be able to see where they went in the winter, how they get back in the summer. Mm-hmm. Like if they congregated under this waterfall, were they waiting for the rainwaters to bring it up high enough so they could push upstream? I don't know. That'd be sick to be able to do some research.
Josh, you know the spot here on the Great Miami. Every pre-spawn, they just stack up in this spot for whatever reason. I don't know where they go in the summertime after the spawn, but they come back every year. I'm just like, where do they come from? Where do they go during the rest of the year? It's crazy because I don't catch them there the rest of the year.
And see, you know, they travel a lot more than most fish.
Yeah.
Again, going back to Gunnersville, the northern end of Gunnersville in the spring, you can catch ridiculous, you know, like giant football smallies. And then, you know, 2 weeks after the spawn, you'll never see them again. Nobody will catch one. Yeah. Where do they go? Like, that'd be a nice answer.
Yeah. I mean, just kind of knowing smallmouth behavior a little bit, especially in the rivers, it's different. They don't really group up. You know what I mean? Like the only time they're grouping up is around the spawn. That's it. Everything is running solo. It's very probably territorial.
Yep.
But I mean, and it's not like they group up in huge amounts anyways, right? So you got to think like smallmouth aren't traveling in big schools. They're going to be traveling in, 3 to 7,
wolf packs.
Yeah. It's not like anything insane. And I think the thing is they like deep water a lot more than what largemouth do. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about deep ass water. Like, in that 30 to 50, like they'll go down there and stay. And that's where they'll go. And it's just, I think it's why you see them survive and be so much better north, because they're such a hardy fish to deal with cold temperatures, versus what largemouth do. I think that's why our smallmouth fishing is so much better than largemouth fishing.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And you could go to some places and catch some great largemouth, but what's funny about it is that there's smallmouth to compete in that size. You know what I mean? The largies will look bigger, but they're not really. You know what I mean? It's just because their heads are bigger, like up in some of the places up north. And I don't know, man. It's just I think Brad's talking about a place that I fish, and dude, there'll be a week where I just destroy it. Like it's right around the spawn. It's like right before it. And I will catch, I did a tournament during this time this year, and I caught a 19.5 and a 19 and an 18 in the first 40 minutes of the tournament. And I was
I need that kind of day.
And it was all on top water. I was so happy, dude. Every fish I caught was that big. It was on a white popper, dude. And I'm like having the time of my life. And I'm like, this is gonna be so hard to upgrade. Like, I mean, I'm like, it's 40 minutes in. I have 9 more hours to fish, and I'm gonna try to upgrade. On smallmouth in the river. I'm like, what just happened is just sort of like one in the lotto. I could have gotten struck by lightning, before I would upgrade it, is what I was thinking, basically.
So that's one of those events.
I upgraded though. That's the best part.
Wow.
So that's awesome.
Yeah, no, my thought process when something like that's happening is this is happening for everybody too. So if I have a day like that, I'll probably just go home. This is best I can do, most likely. I'm just going to go hit the house and see what happens.
The tournament was an online tournament. Well, not an online tournament, but it was a 150-mile radius from Cincinnati. So you could fish within there.
That's cool.
And I'm like, dude, Like I was in first place, like 45 minutes in, and just sat there throughout the whole day until about 1 p.m. And that was when I actually got off the water. And then two guys caught 20s and pushed ahead of me. One of them I was tied with, but he had a better kicker fish. So, but
I did the same thing on the 150 the year before that. Yeah. So I put up 90 inches that day. I was like, I ain't going to do much better. There's no way I'm going to catch 320-inch fish to get first place. So I just left.
I left. The only reason I left is because my phone was about to die. I was like, it was like 12:30, and I was like, and I think the tournament was till 2 or 2:30, something like that. It started early because it was, it's when the sun's coming out at like 6:15. So, I got off the water and I was like, well, should I charge my phone and go back out? Like, I'm like, I can't, there's no way. Well, here's the dumb thing. I should have went back out. I don't think that would upgrade it. There's just not that many 20s swimming around.
Yeah.
But I had a 19 and a half and 2 19s. And I was like, and it's a 3-fish tournament. So I'm like, oh, well, I just called it quits, just hope for the best. And
I still haven't got a 20-inch smallie. That's my
dude.
I've had 3 19 3/4.
Yeah.
Are they tough down there too?
Tough
to find down there too?
Where I'm at, yes. Like Pickwick, no. My buddy caught a 21 1/4 at the BOS tournament. Like now, but that's main lake fishing. Well, he was shallow, but he was shallow on the main body. You fish in the rivers and creeks. I think I know of 1, maybe 2 guys that's caught 20-inch smallies in the creeks, and none of them have been. I lie. The guy last year caught a 20 in my favorite creek to float, and then he ate it.
Jeez.
My buddy Dan was like, I'm taking a coworker down the creek, and it's a big public float area, and I was like, cool. And he was like, he called me. He was like, yeah, man, dude likes to keep fish. And I was like, well, that's fine. It's your right. Like, it's not against the law. He's like, dude hooked up with a 20-inch smallie. And I mean, a river smallie, they don't have that football size here. They're little torpedoes. Right. He's like, dude, it's probably like 3.5 pounders. It was built to be a creek smallie. He's like, he threw it in the cooler. Dang. I was like, at first he said, are you going to be mad if I throw this in the cooler? And then threw it in the cooler. I was like, you better not ever take that dude fishing again.
Yeah.
Jeez. But it's funny. I've got 3 19 3/4 creek smallies. And it was the same way before I ever broke into the 20s in a kayak with largemouth. I had a year that I caught 7 or more 19 3/4 to the point it became a joke. Like, I'd hook a good one and be like, ha, not a 20, 19 3/4. Measure it. Yep. And then I hit it. My buddy caught his PB. An hour later, our other buddy in our group caught his PB, and they were like, you're going to go do it tonight. And I went out. I caught a 21. The next day, I caught a 20. And then from there on out, it's just, I don't know. It's like a weird mental barrier, I guess. But
yeah,
I've been like, this year has been fabulous. That's what's so crazy. I've had, no good tournament finishes because I just don't do that. Like, I'm a great pre-fisherman. That's why I took a step back this year. I don't pre-fish as much. Like, I was like, I'll give it one day. Caught a 7. Like, crap.
7 pound smallmouth?
No. It was largemouth.
Oh, okay.
I've never caught a 20-inch largemouth.
Really?
You never have?
Well, see,
nope.
I don't. For northern people, I don't. Like, I know big names in our industry that they'll be like, yeah, 21 3/4 is my best fish. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, really? But they're primarily up there where now he's probably caught a 6'5" smallie, right. That's on my list. I want a big one. The day I caught the 7.2 largemouth, I didn't cast again, paddled around for 2 hours, came back out, turned the corner, made one cast, and I caught a 4.5 pound, 19.5-inch smallie. And that's my best weight smallie. And I caught it in 2 foot of water that was 92 degrees.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no clue why he was there. But he really wanted the chatterbait.
He got lost.
Yeah, he was. Like
That's
the
crazy.
shelf's out there, homie. You're out. Like, I don't know what's wrong with you.
That is crazy.
I just realized we're all wearing the same hat, basically.
I know, right? NRS.
Heck yeah,
Sponsor
man.
us.
Yeah. Shout out to Blake Longworth, man. Get interested to sponsor us.
The
Our,
podcast, me, I've got a lot of money in your stuff.
Our territory rep, right? Isn't he in this territory? Is that
Yeah.
where he is, Brad? He lives like 30 minutes from us.
Yep.
Go kick his door in.
So
Yo.
Yeah. He's a pretty cool guy.
yeah,
That was a fun episode.
But so let's talk about some future plans. So we were kind of discussing. You saw where Susie brought up a message asking about our thoughts on the trail series and everything. So what are you guys thinking you want to do next year? What would you guys like to see Paddle and Finn do next year, Brad?
What do I want
Brad
to
doesn't get a vote. He doesn't show up to anything.
That's true. I don't even know why I'm asking.
I'm just kidding. What do you want to see, Brad?
I'm just joking. Man, I don't know. I mean, I'm not picky. I don't really care, I mean, you guys do whatever you want, and if I can show up, I'll show up.
Well, do you think
What would you show up to is what I want to know. Like, what would you be like? Oh,
we would have to like stay at a hotel down the street and go fish the Little Miami, and then he'd be there.
No, the
Yeah,
little Miami
they're-
sucks.
You mean the Great Miami?
That one,
Yeah,
one of the
remember-
Miamis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta remember he's not from here. He's so like, he's just something Miami River.
St. Clair, I want to go up there.
Oh man,
I really do.
I was hoping for that event to work out this year and go with Josh and Grimsley.
We should just go before that. Like,
Dude.
let's go before it because that tournament keeps falling like right basically at spawn. And I guarantee the 3 to 4 weeks leading up to it is nothing but fun.
Yeah.
See, that's where I'm at. Like, I didn't know if I wanted to do tournaments next year. I just thought about like, well, I'll just go hit all the lakes that I want to hit. It's the same expense minus the entry fee.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Like I told my buddies, we had such a ball at Lake Fork. I was like, dude, whether a tournament's there or not next year, let's go back. We had a house full of cool people. Everybody caught fish. It was fantastic. Like Lake Fork is phenomenal. And there's a bunch of lakes around there that are good. Lake Athens, Santee Cooper. There's lakes everywhere.
Mhm.
Or not Santee Cooper, Sam Rayburn. But yeah, here's a question to give back to you on the Paddle and Fin. Would you like to see them a whole trail series again, or just like big, like co-events with clubs that are hyped up, and it's like a meetup and a like throwdown, big tournament kind of deal?
I don't know. I don't think, just like we were talking about before, like with all the tournaments, there's just so much. And we aimed high for ours, and we fell short of it. It's kind of expected, especially on the first year of a tournament, right? But to be honest with you, I just kind of want to fun fish, man. I have more fun when we just get together and we go hang out. We don't have to worry about Tennessee was a lot of fun, but there was a lot of stress involved because you're sitting there worrying about constantly if everybody's happy. And just when money gets involved and it's a tournament, just there's that little bit of ugliness that starts to show, and to me, it takes away from the real reason that we're there,
Right.
It doesn't take away from it completely, but it can. And, I dealt with a few things that came up and I was just like, yeah, this, like we were dealing with trying to have good coverage out there, or these guys are mad about this, or that guy's mad about that, or upset. And it's just like, I didn't want to be a part of that. I'd rather go out and have fun with everybody. So
That's why my suggestion was to do events with other clubs, because like we had a club, Central Tennessee Kayak Anglers. Now it's a buddy of mine runs it, and he pays attention, listens to the show. He knows Paddle and Fin likes to go to Del Hollow and hang out at the marina down there. And he was like, are y'all coming back? I was like, I'm sure we will. He was like, well, let's do a joint event, And I talked to Brian about it, and I was like, I think it'd be cool to do that. Like, we could invite every club in the state if we give them enough notice. It's already counting towards their trail series and their ALY. They've already got all that handled. We just come down there, get our sponsors involved, hype the event up. We don't have to do live coverage, but we can do the podcast coverage, have a little bit of setup. Just, it's like going around giving different states a little highlight, kind of. Like, instead of it being the stage at the Hobie or a Bass event, we hang out with the clubs and bring them a little bit of coverage. And like, we don't have to really get involved in any of the dollars or anything. Like, all we're doing is trying to make it where they get more participation. They get, I don't know. It's just an idea.
I like the idea of it. It's just the travel expenses involved for everybody. You got to remember, we got 12 hosts, and we're trying to get everybody. The more the merrier, dude. The more we have people, like, the funner it was. Like, Dale Hollow was fun because there was so many of us down there.
Except Brad.
From Paddle and Fin, what I mean? Well, it was actually more fun without him. I mean, when we think
I
about
wouldn't
it,
know.
if he would have shown up and he'd have been like, I don't care.
You guys probably wouldn't have seen me much. I'd have been fishing the whole day.
Nah, we fished a good bit of it.
When I go to Dale Hollow, when I go to Dale Hollow, I'm on there from sunrise to sunset.
Well, we had obligations because we were running an event.
Yeah,
but we still got time on the water.
Brad, you would have a lot of fun, dude. It was cool to be down there and with everybody, and there's just so many people to chat with and talk with, and that's where I got to meet John Rapp, for the first time, and I'm like, this guy's super nice, super cool, and
I love that guy, John. I mean, we met a bunch of good people.
First time I met you in person, right? Yeah.
No, I met you. I met you the October before, when we were the first time we went to Del Hollow, because we went in October and then we came back for the trail series. Yeah. Because you brought Grimsley with you that first time.
That was fun.
That was hilarious. That was the Milford event.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was epic.
A lot of fun. So
no, I'm with you guys, man. I'd rather do stuff like that than do tournaments. To me, being on the water with buddies and then just like acting a fool, I do this at home.
Yeah. It was
randomly yelling, like being an idiot. I don't know.
I definitely, and we talked about it. I mean, even in the host thing, I think it'd be fun to have just an event for just of us, just where we all just hang out. The thing with like doing the meetup, we do have a lot of followers and listeners, but some people are like, well, I just listen to them. I don't have to go hang out with them. And then you're like, well, hey, we're going to throw down a tournament and got some cool shit to give away. And then people are like, oh, well, yeah, I'll be there. I mean, I sign up for tournaments all the time just because giveaways are good. Like, could have a shit day of fishing and take home a boat.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do y'all have talking like future plans? What about outside of Paddle and Fin? Either one of y'all got any plans for next year yet? Like, gonna try to hit tournaments more or less? Leave sponsors, gain sponsors.
Into a pedal drive. I had to sell mine last year right after I got it.
Sell you one.
So, you gonna ship it up here for free?
I'll bring it to you.
Do helicopter drop it.
Well, it won't last long, but yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be so awesome. Right onto the river.
I thought Hobies flew. They don't fly.
Oh, we could find out.
That's my main goal, because I'd like to get out more. Just from the divorce stuff that's been happening, it's just taking me some time to get over that, get
kind of reset,
get things kind of, just kind of organized in my life. It's been pretty chaotic, but things are calming down. I got some stuff moving in the right direction as far as with my job. So, that's kind of the big goal. And I'm really again, Brad and I talked about this in the GoPro thing. I really want to start making some videos. I'm not trying to make like super long videos or anything like that. Just put together some 15 to 20-minute videos or whatever, whether it's, I've got 4 GoPros, so I can't, I don't have to just outfit myself. I can put a couple cameras with other people as well. And I've tried that in the past though, and it gets to be kind of hard because you kind of want, like, I'm like, all right, guys, you guys want to do something? And everybody's like, yeah. And then when they do it, like, I didn't even turn it on the whole time. Like, like
that's where you have to be your cameraman kind of deal. You gotta, all right, hold on, don't touch it.
But do stuff like that. I mean, Brad and I live really close together. It's not like we couldn't do that. I mean, Brad, if we were smart, we could contact the dude from NRS, shoot some video with him. We got Cody. I think it would be up just north of us.
Yeah,
Cody's asked me 100 billion times when I'm going to come up there, and come see the shop and go fishing with him.
Let's go, dude. That'd be fun.
We go.
I think it would be cool for y'all, since this is a kind of a gear review deal. We've all talked about how we wanted to help up Paddle and Finn's YouTube. Y'all could have a show and fish with those items, and instead of having to talk about it on here again, you just smack that video, even if it's 5 minutes. I mean, you take a whole day of fishing down, you can make 5 good minutes out of it. That'd be cool.
I mean, we don't do a lot of stuff that we product wise that we get. Like, we get very, very infrequent do we get product really that we're testing anymore. It's more or less now we're just contacting people saying, hey, do you want to come on, talk about your guys' stuff, and have them on. Because I mean, it's like, it was never Brad and I's goal to ever try to get free stuff for anybody. It was just, we wanted to make, I'm really into being, I don't know, what is it? Objective or subjective? I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Where we talk about stuff. I don't want to just talk about everything positive all the time.
Yeah.
I'd like to, hit people up with questions that might be hard for them to answer. But, a lot of times I find that super refreshing, and our listeners 1,000 times over love those episodes. They love it when I bring up something kind of contradictive.
Why does your shit suck?
Well, not necessarily that, but something that, like, say, Jackson's FD drives. Why is there such a big problem with that lower unit? What's wrong? What's up with that gear? Why is it like that? What have you guys done to fix it? And and 9 times out of 10, man, they've got good answers. It's like, hey, yeah, we listen to customers, blah blah blah. I like to keep that always rolling. That's the main thing. I just kind of want to. No,
it's same as we talk about how we like how Paddle and Finn's neutral on a lot of the other subjects. I think it's being truthful. Like you said, get to the question. Some people don't know how to ask or don't want to ask. You're not making waves, but like you said, I mean, a lot of the times, like, a lot of people think you're going to, like, if you asked Toby, why y'all having so many issues with the 360 drive? A lot of people would be like, well, they're going to get offended.
Yeah.
Well, they may have a very educated answer. Be like, well, we've figured the problem out. There was a slight miss when we developed it. But now we've got it. Yeah. Coming in 2022.
Mike and I always give each other a hard time because of that. Like, I don't know if you guys saw my post, but somebody's selling a Hobie, and I was like, hey, Mike, you need to buy that for me. Call it a fee for dealing with your antics. And he's like, whatever, dude, you made your bed. Now it's time to lay in it. He's like, FD drives for you for life, And so, and that comes from him listening to the show, because he knows that I will say stuff about Hobie. And it's not Hobie that I'm taking the jab at. It's Mike Grimsley. Yeah, you, Mike, and Chris, and all you other Hobie guys have trashed Jackson saying they were so bad. No, it's just a joke. It's a kind of like an inside joke. And it's the thing that, you don't see the bashing like you do of other brands like the Hobie guys do. Like, I don't see Jackson guys really making it a point to be like, oh, did you guys see the Hobie 360 drive issue?
Because they know they have an inferior product.
It's the thing is they all have issues. It's like we were talking about before, they literally all have issues, especially those first gens. Yeah. Now, what I get most impressed by, and this is why I love Hobie, is they can have that issue and you will see those changes happen to fix that. You know what I mean? Like it gets done. It gets taken care of. It takes time though. You know what I mean? You got to remember how many drives are already made. You know, it's not like these things are made to order. They're already there. You know, it's like, well,
yeah, you produce 10,000 items and then they're like, oh,
yeah,
whoops.
We got to cycle through that first.
If you want a really real world example of that, think of Ford and Chevy and recalls. That's how this works.
Yeah.
Where I work at, we process airbags, the Takata airbags. We destroy them. And the pile of airbags that are out, like I am at the tail end of it. I can't even imagine the amount there was prior to me starting, because it'd gone on for 3 or 4 years. And I'm talking about millions upon millions.
Oh, no. I moved it. I have the thing over there. I have a Takata airbag recall and a Takata passenger seatbelt recall. It's so funny that that's what you do.
But yeah, so it's kind of funny. And I mean, I'm like, how many we got left? And they're like, that hangar used to be full, and we still have like almost 1 million left.
Good God.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's nuts. What about you, Brad? What are you getting into next year? Anything different? Any like goals or stepping back or anything?
I don't think so. Just keep doing what I'm doing.
We can only hope he quits paddling, Finn.
Keeping on.
I'm just kidding, Brad.
I thought about it.
I was joking with him and was like, man,
go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I was like, man, hadn't been on the show in a while. I always say something about like, if one of y'all quit, I'm going to jump in on that. And Brad's like, I'll quit right now. You want my spot? I was like, no.
Dang, dude.
Hey, yeah, dude, you'd be replacing somebody that's very replaceable. So,
nah, you're 1 in a million, man. I can't grow a mustache like that.
You got a better one.
That's my point. But
Brad, you know why I'm giving you a hard time today?
Why is that?
For a quote that you posted up.
What quote?
Something about people who like make fun of you or give you a hard time.
Oh, the Denzel Washington thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a cool quote. I've never seen that one before.
So you got it still? Tell Jimmy. This is why I've been ripping on him hardcore tonight.
You'll never be criticized by someone who is doing more than you. You'll always be criticized by someone doing less. Remember that.
I feel like that's
I'm so less than. I love it.
I feel like that's true occasionally.
It's true all the time. People talk crap.
Is that what you're trying to say? Because you're doing better than I am? You're doing more than I am, Brad?
No.
Because I'm giving you a hard time.
I mean, it is triple commenting.
I don't talk crap to you, though.
No, I'm talking crap to you.
I guess you are less than.
I saw that today, and I'm like, oh, all I'm going to do is give him a hard time.
Just rip on him.
Yeah.
No, I just saw that. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty true. Because I've never known anybody that talks crap that are like at the top. You know what I mean?
I mean,
there's people that talk crap that think they're at the top.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times where you see people who give you a hard time or upset with you or talk behind your back, that kind of stuff. I'm a big believer that person, you have something that they want.
Right.
And it's hard.
They're unhappy about something.
And so, yeah. And I don't think that it's necessarily that anybody's ever really less than. It's just that they're uncomfortable with where they're at. And it's like an envy type of issue.
I don't worry
a lot
about
of times
what people are doing. So I don't really
I wish I could get that way. I'm getting more and more that way. Like most of the time, I just like to I don't know.
You're laughing.
I don't worry about what you're doing until it has something to do.
He said, "I don't care." I knew it.
Well, why? What benefits me from caring about what others are doing? There's no point. You know, I'm just saying.
Nobody's asking you to care.
I'm just
stop getting butthurt.
I'm not getting butthurt.
I'm just laughing at your quote because you don't care, but then you're posting that, making a point to say, you know what I mean? That's what's funny.
It was a good quote
because it sounds like you care. Just
no,
you don't
it was a
care.
good quote.
I don't know. Don't care.
Brad, do you secretly care? Do you need a hug?
No, I don't need a hug.
Damn it.
It's fine. His mustache.
No, I just
beard oil.
Who cares what other people are doing? That's the thing. I don't care.
I care how everybody's doing.
I
don't care what you're doing. I just care how you're doing. If you're doing,
I don't even care about that.
Damn.
No, we didn't.
I thought we were friends. I'm going through some tough
Brad
times
has
right now.
two
Well,
friends.
if
Brad
your
has
friend-
like two friends, Justin and
that's true.
Justin.
That's true. But
I'm not even.
if I know you personally, like you guys, I care about how you guys are doing and stuff. Somebody I've met like maybe once or twice, or like I run to on the water on a tournament. I don't really care, dude. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. I don't care.
Brad's like, you're drowning. Oh,
Brad's gonna notice. He'd be like, a lot of people don't talk to me anymore.
Oh, my wife will tell you that. I'm not a big people person anyway.
I'm a social butterfly, man.
The sweetest person in the world. I don't know how she deals with your shit.
She's an introvert. I've gotten more introverted as I get older. So
I definitely have around here, but it's like I'll let that go when I go around the country. Like, it's not even that. If I go outside of our town, like, I talk to everybody. Yeah, you make friends everywhere you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing I really
people. Like. I don't know. I just blurt out, right? You know how I am, Jimmy. Jimmy listens to all my crazy old stories.
I love it.
At the same time, it's getting to a point now. It's just the way everything is turning out since COVID started. I'm like, you're kind of seeing everybody's anxiety and craziness start creeping out, you know,
and stupidity.
Amen. Common sense is a thing that is gone.
Oh man,
we won't get
ever since all the Corona crap, man. I'm just I don't even want to be your friend after that post.
Like, right? People like. It blew
That's
my
the
mind.
Problem, though, right there, Brad, is that people base their friendships off of social media, and that is a giant mistake. The only way you can make
people
true
I don't
friends,
even know.
no,
So I'm just
listen. The only way you make true friends and know people for who they really are in face-to-face, long-form conversation, not by a 20-word stupid-ass post. And that's the problem today, that everybody is basing their feelings and thoughts on other people off of something that they're reading while they taking a crap on a Samsung Galaxy S9. It's the dumbest thing you've ever seen. Like, it is literally, we are dumbing ourselves down at a rate that is incredible. We have literally started to talk with acronyms. Everything.
I can't wait till I start hearing people pronounce LOL. Like
Joe Rogan did it today on his podcast.
Did he really?
They're doing it as a joke.
Oh,
like,
okay.
They're like, lol. I lulled. And
that's old.
And they start laughing every time they say it because they know how ridiculous it sounds. And I'm like,
I had something similar with my one of my buddies I work with occasionally. His son went to work with us, and his son's like 7 or 8. And he picked something up and he threw it and said, "Yeet." And his dad looked at him. So that's the stupidest fucking word. It was just, and then for an hour, all we could do is say that word and laugh. And it's just, God, what has it came to?
I'm pretty sure I've said that to you messing around before.
Oh, I use it all the time because it's hilarious. Like, it's just like a word that makes no sense, but it's just funny. And some people come up with some funny, like, memes and stuff of it that just make it. Dude, like, my favorite one is it's a little short clip of the Lion King when he holds him up, and they've edited it to where when he holds him up, he chucks him, and the word "yeet" just follows the little baby lion into the oblivion.
But yeah, man, it's what about you, dude? What are you gonna do, Jimmy?
I don't know. I've been burnt out on it. Like I said, I hadn't been on the water since August. I haven't done anything, and I haven't had any urge to do anything. Like, fishing wise, it's just I'm kind of sick of it.
COVID?
I guess it's just, I think that a lot of the stuff we're talking about, like the social media, the stress and anxiety and stuff like that, and it's not like I hate negativity as much as somehow I'm drawn to reading it. Like, it just seems like there's so much in our freaking sport that's so cool that's just bad mouthing and crap, and I'm just tired of it, man. And like, I love doing the podcast, so we kind of, especially with me doing the tournaments coverage, we kind of are in it. Like, not paddle and fin directly, but I hear about all of it because we talk to these people and friends with all those people. And I don't know, I think that's what kind of burned me out on it, man. I canceled a couple of tournaments, and there's crap that happens on the local level down here I'm just sick of, and I don't know, but I've been getting like, I noticed today, like for some reason today, I walked outside and cleaned one of my boats off, and it just like fired me up. And I was like, started making plans. I got notes up here for next year, and I hit Brian up because we had talked about getting together and like picking one trail next year and like really hit it hard, you know. And I don't know. I probably am gonna. I got a lot on my plate, man. Like run my own business, try to keep up with the sponsors that I have and stuff like that. And I've been in like a spot where I've been debating just letting all of those go. Like find one thing to focus on, or like I can handle like 5 things. I can't handle like the 17 or whatever it is right now that I've got going on. Like, you know, paddle and fin, one tournament trail, my company, and I run the state championship now for our state. Like, that's enough. So
it's hard keeping up with all that stuff, man.
Especially for me, man. I'm ADHD, and when I was a kid, I was medicated for it, and I grew out of it, is what they said. Like, I didn't need the medication anymore. And just in the last few years, it seems like it's came back real hard. So I have a lot of problems trying to be detailed enough to, like for instance, these notes right here. I made these notes so I won't forget. I will not look up there.
Yeah,
I'll forget that I wrote them.
Yeah.
But my wife helps, man. Like with the podcast, she helps me do the Tourney X stuff. Like she gets the tournaments for me each week. Keeping up with all my sponsors and social media. I get her the content. She tells me when it needs to go out. She'll, hey, it's Monday. You need to post for these people. You need to post for that person. So that's helped, but it's just so much, man. It's kind of getting annoying. And it sucks because I really do love all the companies that I get to do stuff with. Like,
yeah, I'm the same way, dude.
Like I sit there and be like, dude, I'm just gonna let it go, and be like, nah, man, they're cool people. Like,
yeah.
So I don't know. It's weird. Who knows? I might be sitting here next year. We'll be talking about this again, and I did absolutely nothing different, and I'm still stressed out. So.
No, I'm with you, man. I get the same way. So the only thing that makes it better is just to go fishing and catch a 19-inch smallmouth.
See, that's something I've lost, man. Like you just like you work and then you go fish, man. I don't know what it is because you do construction style stuff. Like you do more construction than I do. I'm just an electrician. Like I'm just so fucking done with the day. Even if I get off, like I was off today, I planned on going hunting. I did not leave my living room. Like
I get that way sometimes.
I just don't. I haven't been able to break it. It's like a mess. Telling Brian, dude, I'm in like this crazy mental funk. Like I just can't. Like I've been going hunting and stuff like that and preparing for that. But as far as fishing and stuff like that, like I did everything I could to set up something where I could come home, grab a kayak, grab 2 rods. That way I was like, okay, maybe it's all the preparation is what turns it in. I made it as easy as freaking possible. I borrowed one of those Hobie Links because it's 40 pounds. I was like, okay, is that what it is? Is the weight of the boat? I'm just tired of lugging a boat around. Nope. Took it out one time. Was like, nope, still don't feel like being here. Like, I don't know what it is, man. Like,
I don't know.
I get that way in the
break.
summer.
You know,
Yeah.
when you fish and you do it and you talk about it and it's so much of your life that it's easy to get burnt out on that stuff. So there's nothing wrong with taking a break, man. Sometimes you need a break, get a step away from it, let it refresh itself, and go back out there and maybe adjust what you're doing. Whether it's cutting back on how often you go, or do I need to be involved in every tournament? Because that makes it stressful. Where you're like, okay, financial wise, like how can I work this out? Whatever it is, man. But that's kind of what. So the few times I haven't gone out that much this year, and it's been the same kind of reasons, Jimmy, as you're talking about. I'm like, oh, do I want to pack all that up? No, I'm going to stay here,
right.
But when I have made it out, it's actually, even when it's not been great, I've still had actually a good time. And when I find myself, I've been fishing a lot, when it doesn't go my way and I'm not catching fish, I actually am upset.
It's a bad day.
Yeah. So it's like, even when I'm out there, I'm enjoying being out there. And I think the break from it has kind of helped me to like reset that and kind of be like, why am I out here? I'm out here because I love nature. I'm out here because I love water. Like that's what attracted me to the sport. It's what attracted me to fishing in the first place. It had nothing to do with catching fish. It had everything to do with being out in the water, you know, about being out in nature, enjoying the outdoors and that sort of thing. So maybe that's what it is, dude. You get that little break, you're going to find you go out there, maybe you're going to enjoy it. You know,
and
a little bit
you know, a lot of it's, I have a lot of hobbies too. So there's like, it's always a lot. And, you know, this year and last year, it was like, I still have a lot of hobbies, but it was like everything I was doing in the last years had to do with fishing in some way. Sponsors, Instagram or social media, podcasts, tournaments, being at tournament, running the tournament, you know, and it was just a lot. And, you know, hitting this burnout this year, and like, I'm just now really getting into hunting. I've been, you know, when I was a kid a little bit with other buddies and stuff like that, but I wasn't brought up doing it. And I've always loved hiking and being in the woods and stuff. And like, I got permission to go out on my buddy's 80 acres, and it's, you know, away from everything. And I got out there Sunday and I just sat down, like out in the middle of nowhere, found a really cool looking tree, got up under the tree, just sat back and just silence.
Yeah.
And was just like, God, I love this. And that's the kind of like mental, like decompression you need. And then, you know, and then it turned into a fun day. Like, I ran into a bachelor group of really nice bucks. Like, could be a cool hunting year. I may get a wall hanger, you know, like, I don't know. We'll see. Need a break.
Okay. I'm kind of completely opposite from you guys, because if I don't go, I'm like, dang it. There's a 19-inch fish out there waiting for me that I got to
So
get.
correct me if I'm wrong though, but like, is fishing like your only hobby though?
Me?
Yeah. Like, or do you have other hobbies like shooting guns or shooting archery or collecting puzzles, Legos, anything?
I think guns should be banned.
Get away from me.
I just said that. Brad's a gamer.
No, I haven't touched the Xbox in like months, dude.
Now that is something that I'm having to dial back on. Is I've got way too into Xbox.
How you feel about fishing is how I feel about the Xbox right now. I sit down, I'll turn the game on, I'll just stare at the screen. I won't even play. I'll put the controller down, I'll pick my phone up.
Kids?
What?
Do you have kids?
I have one.
You have one. See, Brad doesn't have any kids. So Brad doesn't have any responsibilities outside of himself. So that's kind of, you know, he's got the time to be able to do it. You know what I mean? That's the other thing I find is like, you know, and I only have my kids 50% of the time now. So It's like, you know, I'm like, dudes, like, you guys want to go out? And I took them out and they were miserable. I felt so bad. Like they were miserable the whole time, because I was like, we're going out to the river, so the bobbers and stuff, they're gonna stay home, you know. And I hooked into a really big fish. Not sure if it was like a world record smallmouth, because it felt like it, but I want to say it was a channel cat or a catfish. And I tried to get Zachary. My kids are little, right? They're 6 and 4, but they're actually little for their age. I handed the rod to Zach, and he's like turning it like it's a great white shark. That's the funniest thing. I'm like,
you're gonna need a bigger boat,
dude. Crank it. He's like, I'm trying. Like, and we always saw its tail, and it got off, and I was like, oh.
I ruined my daughter. We'd fish off the bank. She enjoyed that. Got her own Jackson skipper. She liked it. We went out, me and her, one day, and it just so happened to be the weekend I got my motor set up for my Frontier. Mm-hmm. So put her on a paddle boat, and I was motoring around, and she kept messing with me like, you need to exercise, Dad. Turn the motor off, blah, 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 blah. Then we got like 2 miles back, and I had made a comment because I just wanted us to keep going. I was like, well, if you can hop in my boat and we'll drag your boat back. And as soon as I said that, she was ready to go. And all she wanted to do was take her seat, put it in the front of my boat, and run around with the motor, you know.
Yeah.
Woo! You know, going fast, going slow, cutting circles, dragging. I ruined it. It's like, damn it.
Yeah.
Because now that's all she expects. Like, she's like, where's your motor?
I made that mistake fishing with Grimsley. and Zach got on the boat with him, and Mike let him power the Torpedo all over the place. And he gets in my boat. And he's like, Dad, can you turn on your motor? And I'm like,
Dad, your boat sucks.
Hold on a second. There's the motor. But he actually the thing he likes about my boat the best is where he can sit up front and dangle his legs over, and it's comfortable. And he loves that part of that kayak, and he loves it. He loves getting out on the river and stuff. We had Colin with us, and Colin is a bit of a outdoor drag. He hangs for like an hour and a half or 2 hours, and after that he's sort of over it. He's like, I want some AC.
Yeah. So. I mean, I'm getting that way. Like,
all right, guys, you want to wrap this up? Anything else anybody wants to add?
Put a bow on it.
All right. Jimmy?
Nah, man. Fun to hang out with y'all. Been a while.
Yeah, man. Thanks for jumping on. We killed an hour and 10 minutes pretty easily. So everybody, thanks again for listening. Tune in next week. Brad will probably have shaved off his mustache because of the itch factor. And we'll see a new Brad. So, all right. See you guys later.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in to another killer episode on Paddle and Fin. Don't forget to go check out our website at paddle_and fin.com. Don't forget to check out the YouTube channel at Paddle and Fin. If you got a question, comment, want to hear from a future guest on a future episode, feel free to email us at paddle_and fin@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Paddle and Fin on Facebook and Instagram. Shout out to our show supporters, Angler. The Angler button and app just makes for a better time on the water and creates a virtual logbook for every fishing outing out on the water. Shout out to Rocktown Adventures, located in Northern Illinois, for all your kayaking, camping, and hiking needs. Shout out to Jigmasters Jigs. When in doubt, get the jig out. Go to jigmasters.com